Thanks once again for tuning in to quadradio.com as we continue our coverage today with the Grand National Cross Country Championship. And our guest today, the infamous and famous and one of the most fun-loving guys in the GNCC XC1 class. That, of course, none other than Johnny Gallagher. Johnny, welcome to Quad Radio, man.
Well, thanks for having me. I've been listening the last couple of days and certainly pumped to get a phone call from you. Obviously, I always have a lot to say, so I'll try and keep it brief, but I'm not making any promises.
That's all right, man, because you're actually one of the most colorful guys, I think, in the ATV racing industry and probably one of the funnest to listen to. But nonetheless, I guess first and foremost, I guess people are probably wondering what Johnny G is up to right now, man. I know that in the off season, you're one of those guys that likes to head south, and there always seems to be some good stories that come along with that.
Yeah, definitely. Packed up right after the banquet. I actually head out to California to take care of a little bit of business. So, Chris and Adam and a few of the other guys got on the road. I think it was the 3rd, and I was almost a full week behind. I got on the road the 10th and headed down. So, been down here since December 10th, shot home for a couple days for Christmas, 3-4 days, spent some time with my mom and sister and family, and since then been back down here and pounding it out and training and riding and coming back for at least one more year of GNCC XC1 and, going to try and improve upon a pretty poor year this year, to be honest with you. But, Florida's great, weather's good. We went through some cold days like McGill was saying, but now the temperatures are back up there. That the tracks are gorgeous and a lot of people down here to ride with. We got a house full right now, actually, so definitely no shortage of people to push yourself with.
No doubt, and I know that you guys a lot of you guys are in Florida, but not everybody in the same places, I guess. At least McGill, I guess he's down in Sarasota. Where are you guys at?
McGill's down south, a little bit further south of us in Sarasota. And then I know Taylor and Walker and Thomas Brown are down here somewhere, unless they may be up in Alabama. But Taylor has a place down further south in Alva. But myself, Chris, Jared McClure, Jeff Pickens, Tracy Checo, Landon Wolf, and a revolving cast of others kind of base ourselves out of Chris Borch's house in Daytona Beach, Florida.
Wow, so that sounds like a pretty exciting place, and I guess probably Chris, like you said, I mean, he gets down there like immediately following the banquet, if not before the banquet, and he's probably got some pretty cool trails and stuff laid out for you guys, huh?
Yeah, actually, we ride primarily moto when we're down here. Do some wood riding when we can find it, and when we have the time and whatnot to keep up with bikes. We just pair up so much stuff when we're riding woods, especially down here in the sand. Whoops are just brutal on equipment, so we ride a lot of moto during the week, just to get the heart rate up, do your training, to keep sharp, to stay loose on the bike, but at the same time you're giving yourself a good workout, and it's not nearly as hard on the equipment. But Chris typically comes down within 2 weeks after the season ends. I did that as well last year. Definitely felt strong coming into Florida doing that way. Unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you look at it, the season went a little longer, obviously, this year with the rescheduled doubleheader of the Reds, and going kind of right into the banquet. We just decided to roll down after the banquet instead of coming down for a few weeks before and then rolling all the way back up for the banquet, then all the way back down, then all the way back for Christmas. So, like I said, we just kind of waited till the 1st of December this year to come down, and just been down since, and don't plan on going home again until we load up after Georgia and head south or head north.
Does it seem like it's a long way off with the extended season? I know for me personally, with the banquet being so close to the end of the season, it almost seemed like we hadn't been on much of a break, if any break at that point. And right now, I don't know, as much as we are on a break, it almost, to me, I'm pretty excited. Maybe it's this whole quad radio thing. I don't know, but it seems like the season's just around the corner.
Oh, absolutely, and I think every year with the media coverage and the online stuff at the forums, and obviously what you're doing with this quad radio, the hype gets more and more. Competition's just getting stronger every year, so everybody's working harder. Everybody wants to prove themselves. So the off season, I think realistically we should just do away with that term altogether because it doesn't make much sense. There is no off season in GNCC racing anymore. There's the summer break where you have a couple months where you don't have any races, and then we should call it the winter break where you don't have any races. But realistically, that's all it is. There is no off season.
Very good point, Johnny Gallagher, that's for sure. Now, you mentioned something about the competition, and I know we make light of this sometimes in interviews and stuff about being one of the more seasoned riders in the XC1 Pro class. Let's talk a little bit about that talent field, man. We've seen it fluctuate a lot over the years, but I think in the past 10 years that I've been involved with GNCC, I think right now we've probably got the deepest talent field that we've ever had.
Oh, absolutely, and that's not only with XC1. I mean, you've got more than a handful of XC2 guys that are really rolling. You've got some young kids coming up through the B class and the A class. Look at the talent pool in the women's class, the utility classes. I mean, being the premier series in the world right now, in my opinion, draws the best riders from everywhere. And when you have the best, it breeds the best. And these young kids coming up have so much work to do to even compete in a B class compared to when I started. That it just honestly, I feel like it really does fuel their competitive fire and drive, and you see them working hard at a very young age, determined to get what they want. And by the time they do get up to the A class or the XC2 class or Pro Am or the XC1 class, I mean, they've got a solid program in place where. And you say we make light of the fact in interviews, but I'm proud of the fact. I mean, this will be 2012 will be my 18th season, I believe, on the front row. With the exception of Barry Hawk, and obviously Bill Balance. I don't know if he'll be back in a full-time capacity next year or part-time or racing at all. But he started, I believe, a year or two before me, so I got a couple of years to catch up to him. But those are two titans of the sport that are leading me in terms of years on the front row. And other than that, I'm kind of, I guess we're kind of in a class all our own. Certainly I don't have the championships that they do, so I'm not trying to put myself in that bracket. But as far as longevity, I'm proud of the fact how long I've been there. It's been a lot of work, but it's been a lot of fun.
What do you think is the secret to your success at being involved in the GNCC so long, Johnny? Because so many people either have gotten burned out, gotten frustrated because of sponsorship, or just couldn't make a living at it. I mean, why do you think you've been so successful at it?
I suppose depending on who you talk to, you'd probably get some drastically varying opinions on that. Me personally, I think it's love. I mean, I love the sport. I love everything about GNCC and racing in general, but obviously specifically GNCC racing. And I will stop at nothing to be where I want to be, which is on the front row for as long as I possibly can be, healthy, competitive, and be up there. And there were definitely times where it didn't seem like it was going to be plausible to continue to do. Like you said, for all the reasons, other people have chosen to move on or do something else or just get out of it altogether. I've been in those positions before. I've done really well for myself with working with a group of sponsors and people that are behind me regardless of my race results. I mean, obviously they want me to do well. That's what my job is. But, through my personality and I guess my name, for lack of a better explanation, I'm able to promote products and companies, and I've worked very hard to keep a clean nose and a good reputation, and I really try and only endorse products I really believe in, and it's allowed me to have great support over the course of specifically the last 10 or so years. I've got a core group of sponsors that have been with me literally that whole time. They're great companies, great people, great products, and as long as they're willing to support me, and as long as I feel I can be competitive, I'll be on the front row and racing and chasing my dreams, which is something that every day when I wake up, it's not like going to work. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's a ton of work that goes in between training, riding, working on bikes, all the liaison stuff between companies and sponsors. But it's a dream come true every day. I really do believe that. I'm the luckiest man on earth.
I have to say, man, I agree. You do have a very great life, that's for sure. And to be able to do what you have, the passion and what drives your life, I guess, is probably the best way to put that. That's pretty intriguing itself. And you mentioned a good core group of sponsors. That's one thing I wanted to talk to you about. What is your program like this year? I know you made mention of it a little bit there with in the pre-interview when we were talking there a few moments ago. You mentioned about Chad Weenan and Thomas Brown and those guys being a part of the Blue Crew, so to speak, from the ATV motocross side of things, and it'll be pretty nice. So obviously it sounds like that you're still working, have a working relationship and some support with the Yamaha folks?
Yeah, absolutely. I've been working with Yamaha since 2006, I believe, even though I didn't actually start riding for them until 2008. I was wrenching for Tracy Checo in 06 and 07. Had a great working relationship with them, and in 08 they gave me the opportunity to come and ride for them, offered me some support. Had a full factory deal in 09. And then obviously with the economy, things do change, but I definitely do have a very close relationship with everyone at Yamaha and still work closely with them and would not ride any other bike regardless of, what level of support there is. I feel it's the best bike out there, and they're certainly the best company out there that supports GNCC racing beyond what any other company has over the last 6-8 years.
Now, with the crew of guys that you're hanging with, Borich and McClure and Pickens and even Tracy, I mean, there's got to be at least one good story you can leave us with before we head on out today, Johnny.
Oh, there's a lot more than one. It's a very rough crew. Nobody's easy on each other. I mean, we all work well together, push each other as far as training, riding, but there's a lot of tough love, I guess, goes into it. So I honestly, there's not specifically one story that sticks out. It's just the constant shenanigans. I mean, I think everything's a testosterone contest down here, and that very much includes Tracy. Hopefully that doesn't offend her when I say that. But, if we're driving to Firehouse Subs for lunch, it's a race. If we're on the Ruckuses going to the beach, it's a race. Obviously, we're on the track, it's a race. When we're in the kitchen, next thing you know, we're playing bloody knuckles. Everybody's constantly busting on each other, testing each other's patience. It's training even when you're not training. We did all go out for New Year's Eve, had a blast. There was some fireworks on the beach, went out for a nice dinner. There was a block party afterwards. They shut down Main Street where all the bikes are during Bike Week. They shut down that whole street in that block. So we went and checked that out. Actually, Blake Kramer, one of the XC2 guys, was down here as well, and the rest of the crew that I already mentioned. So we all went out and had a good time and saw some fun and crazy things. There's some pictures on Facebook and some other stuff. So I'll kind of let people check that out on their own. But we keep a pretty clean nose. I mean, nobody down here is really into it. Definitely not getting into any trouble. Chris wouldn't allow that. He runs a pretty tight ship, and if you want to be a part of his little camp, you play by his rules.
Sounds like a good time though, man. And maybe I can get down there and check in with you guys before you know it. But maybe we'll check in.
Yeah.
Johnny, again, thanks for all your time today, man. And any parting shots or anything anybody want to say thanks or send a shout out to or anything before I let you go?
Yeah, absolutely. As I mentioned, there is a core group of sponsors that is responsible for me being able to do this full time and make it all happen for me. First and foremost, like St. GBC Motorsports, been working with them the last couple of years. They're great people out there in California. They've really stepped up their support of the ATV racing community and UTVs 3-4 years, and very, very proud to be a part of that program and work so closely with those guys. Obviously, Yamaha Motor Corporation, HMF Exhaust. I've been working with Hans and the guys over there since 2003 when they first got involved with GNCC racing, and obviously, they're a huge part of GNCC nowadays. Those are the big ones. Obviously, Jeff Cernick from Cernick's, he's helped me out immensely over the years. Cole and the guys from Fast Bars, those are the companies that kind of really step up and put my program together, and then obviously all my other sponsors from Fly to PowerMed. I mean, the list goes on, and if it wasn't for all those people, I wouldn't be where I am today, and I can't say enough about all of them and everything that's got me to where I am today.
All righty. Keep believing the dream. That's Johnny Gallagher.
I don't plan on stopping anytime soon. I got a couple good years left in me.
That's great. That's Johnny Gallagher. I'm Rodney Tomlin. This is Quad Radio.